The first things I have noticed is your desire to understand your true identity and your purpose. I see how you ask difficult questions to promote change, providing you do not seek to compromise your eternal identity and purpose. While you think about this, may I remind you that there is one important identity we all share now and forever, one that we should never ever lose sight of, one we should be grateful for. That is, you are and have always been a son or daughter of God with spiritual roots in eternity. You are first and foremost and always will be a spirit child of God. Those aren't just words from a beautiful primary song. They are words of truth. They are imbued with eternal significance for all of us. The foundational fact of heavenly parentage is not just my truth or your truth. It is eternal truth. It is written in big, bold, capital letters. Understanding this truth, really understanding it, and embracing it is life-changing. It gives you an extraordinary identity that no one can ever take away from you. But more than that, it should give you an enormous feeling of value and a sense of your infinite worth. Finally, it provides you a divine, noble, and worthy purpose in life. In this country and many other countries around the world, a great divide has grown between political parties. Belonging to a political party can be a very good thing when it helps us align ourselves with candidates and others who share our personal values and beliefs. But we must never forget that although we may be a member of a political party, we are first and foremost citizens or residents of our country. That larger and more important shared identity should bind us to one another and help us overcome the petty squabbling, demonization that has sadly become standard operating procedure in contemporary partisan politics throughout most of the world. That is why we need to constantly pray for our countries and for our leaders. The same is true in relationships between nations and their peoples. Identifying with your country of birth or your adopted country is appropriate. We need passports as well as the benefits of citizenship. And it's always fun to cheer on our country's athletes at the Olympics. However, today we see where dedication to a false idea about one's nation is destructive. In this case, it is also important to remember that we are all part of a much larger society. That is, we are inhabitants of the same planet, and we are dependent upon each other for our mutual survival, happiness, and peace. For us, the group is most important to identify with is being the children of God. Keeping the commandments is essential if we are to truly love the Lord fully and completely. Keeping the commandments is eternally tied to our ordinances and commitment to faithfully live the gospel. The second commandment is also important. In the parable of the Good Samaritan, Jesus taught that our neighbor may be someone from a different group, even a historic enemy. This should give you and I pause. To love your neighbor is to have compassion on those we meet, even if they belong to a different group, and at times are identified as our enemies. My dear brothers and sisters, with all my soul, I invite you to keep your membership in God's family first and foremost in your minds and live the two great commandments. I firmly believe the eternal truth that we are the children of God. He loves us and has prepared a great plan of happiness that allows the most growth, possibilities, and joy through the goodness and grace of his only begotten Son, whose suffering in Gethsemane and death on the cross provide us life, happiness, joy, and ultimately fulfillment.